Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored, is for people who are tired of being misled, overmedicated, and dismissed by the sick care system. Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored, stands as the fearless voice of clarity and empowerment. Unlike sanitized health media or corporate-aligned medical messaging, Dr. Ron delivers bold, evidence-informed insights that cut through confusion and restore personal agency. His mission is simple and radical. Give people the truth, give them tools, and give them back control of their health.
Listen to this man, he got some good news for you. Hey, everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Welcome, everybody, and thank you, Attitude of Gratitude, for tuning into this program. And today we are recording episode 3 of the Dr. Ron Doctrine. Our title today is The Silent Collapse, How Disease Begins Long Before You Get a Diagnosis. So welcome back. And let's continue our journey through this Dr. Ron Doctrine. So in episode 1, we explored a controversial question. What if cholesterol is not the villain we have been taught to fear? What if it is actually part of the body's repair process? What if we've been blaming the firefighters for the fire? Then we went to episode 2, where we asked another important question. What happens when we suppress one of the body's most important molecules without understanding why it is present? And that led us to a fundamental principle of the doctrine. The body is intelligent. The body is intelligent. So today we go even deeper. Today, we ask a question that may change how you think about disease forever. When does disease actually begin? Do you think it begins when you're diagnosed? When does it actually begin? Well, I'm telling you, it's not when it is diagnosed, not when symptoms appear, not when the blood tests become abnormal. So then where does it begin, you ask? Well, that's what we will be discussing today. So the question nobody asks, let me ask you, how long does heart disease exist before the first heart attack? How long does Alzheimer's disease exist before memory loss? How long does diabetes exist before someone is diagnosed? How long do you have cancer before a scan finds it? Well, you'll be surprised, but the answer is often years, sometimes decades. Yet, medicine often focuses on the point at which disease becomes visible. The Dr. Ron Doctrine focuses on what happened before that. Some people call that upstream, because by the time disease has a name, the process has usually been underway for a very long time. Okay, and this is where this story begins. Most people believe disease develops like a lightning strike. One day you're healthy, the next day you're sick. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, biology doesn't work that way. Disease develops gradually, quietly, silently, long before symptoms, long before diagnoses, long before warning signs become obvious. Think of a tree. If the leaves begin turning brown, the problem did not start in the leaves. The problem started underground, at the roots. Health works the same way. The diagnosis is the brown leaf. The real problem is much deeper. That's why I suggest that the disease model is backwards. So I've come up with 4 stages, and that's what the Dr. Ron doctrine proposes. Let's try and understand these stages because I think it changes everything. Stage 1, we have cellular dysfunction. We'll get into this. Stage 2, tissue dysfunction. Stage 3, organ dysfunction. And then 4, a diagnosable disease. We've talked about this in the past. There are thousands and thousands of diseases listed in the AMA database. So there's many, many things you could be diagnosed with, but they go through these stages. They go through the first stage of cellular dysfunction. This is where disease truly begins. It begins inside the cell. You don't have symptoms. You don't have a diagnosis. There's no warning label. Everything looks normal. Yet the cells are beginning to struggle. The mitochondria produce less energy. Oxidative stress increases. Repair mechanisms become less efficient. Communication begins to break down. But remember what I said in the beginning, the body is intelligent. And this is where the body starts to adapt. It starts to compensate. The body continues to function because that is what intelligent systems do. Remember that first doctrine principle. The body is intelligent. The body will always try to adapt. Now, stage 2, we go from the cell to the tissues. Now, groups of cells begin to struggle. Inflammation increases. The repair process slows down. The blood flow changes. The environment around the cells becomes less favorable. The body is intelligent, so the body still compensates. And most of the time, people still feel fine. Yet beneath the surface, your physiology is changing. And this stage can go on for years, sometimes decades, without anyone knowing it. Then we go on to stage 3, where we begin to see organ dysfunction. And this is when symptoms appear, like fatigue, brain fog, digestive problems, joint pain, lapses of memory, sleep disturbances, blood pressure changes, blood sugar changes. And when these symptoms start appearing, this is usually where people seek help. But here's a critical point. Listen here. Symptoms are not the beginning of disease. Symptoms are evidence that the body has been compensating for a long time. The body has finally been exhausted. It has exhausted some of its reserve capacity. Now we go to stage 4. This is what everybody knows. You get a diagnosable disease. Now we finally can apply a label. You have diabetes, you have heart disease, you have dementia, you have autoimmune disease, you have cancer. But the diagnosis is not the beginning. The diagnosis is the result of stages 1, 2, and 3. It is the final chapter of a story that started years earlier. And that changes how we think about prevention. Now let's talk about how we can connect this to episodes 1 and 2. If cholesterol is part of repair, what exactly is being repaired? If inflammation is occurring, what triggered it? If symptoms appear, what happened before these symptoms? To answer that question, we must look at the structures that protect our cells. And one of those structures is the lining of our blood vessels. This is a microscopic world most people never hear about and never talk about. the missing part of the puzzle. So every cell lives in an environment and within an environment. And our cells require oxygen. They require nutrients, water, energy. Our cells communicate at light speed. Our cells require waste removal. And when these processes are disrupted, the intelligent cells adapt. When adaptation becomes difficult, dysfunction begins. When dysfunction persists, disease follows. Okay? It's not a mystery. That is biology. That is biology. So our cells are faced with challenges our ancestors never, ever experienced, like ultra-processed foods, excess sugar, adulterated seed oils, environmental toxins, microplastics, poor sleep, no restorative sleep, chronic stress, lifestyles that are sedentary, circadian disruption from the blue light, from the Wi-Fi, from the television, from the cell phones, constant stimulation, constant dopamine release. These pressures, ladies and gentlemen, they accumulate. Any one of them may not cause disease, but decades of accumulated stress can overwhelm adaptation. And what happens? Well, like everything else, eventually the body reaches a tipping point. So here's the third principle of the Dr. Ron Doctrine that we'll introduce in this episode. This is important. Write it down. Disease does not begin when symptoms appear. Disease begins when cells lose their ability to adapt. One more time. Disease does not begin when symptoms appear. Disease begins when cells lose their ability to adapt. That's the lesson, and that's my message. That's the foundation of prevention. So here's my take. For generations, we've been trained to chase diseases. We wait for symptoms. We wait for tests to become abnormal. We wait to make a diagnosis. And what? Then we react. So my question is, what if we started earlier, upstream from the diagnosis? What if we focused on the health of the cell? What if we protected energy production? What if we reduced the burdens that force the body into chronic adaptation? If we did that, maybe disease would never gain a foothold. The future of medicine will not begin with a diagnosis. The future of medicine will begin with the health of the cells. I know that's a lot to digest, but if you've listened to episode 1 and 2, this follows logically. And the next episode, the next time on the Dr. Ron Doctrine, we will get to that forgotten organ, the glycocalyx, the microscopic protective layer lining every blood vessel in your body. Most people have never heard of it. I think a lot of physicians have never heard of it. Yet, it may influence heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, diabetes, and the aging process itself. If cholesterol is the firefighter, the glycocalyx may be the fireproof wall we've all ignored. So I'm Dr. Ron. This is the Dr. Ron Doctrine. We'll present episode 4 the next time. And if you like what you hear, please share this with a friend or neighbor. Check out my Substack page, which is docronradio.substack.com, where I also post episode information and other pertinent information that you can use. I just recently posted an article on hydration and sun exposure. where I talk about where drinking plain water is not enough and how you have to be careful of sunscreens. So remember, disease does not begin when you get symptoms. Disease actually begins when your cells lose their ability to adapt. That's a doctrine statement that we'll be talking about in the future. And I'll probably bring it up every episode going forward. Disease does not begin when you get sick. It has been going on for years. So thank you. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your time. I know this is a little bit deep, but we're going to get through this. And at the end, you'll understand it and you won't be able to ununderstand it. But it's something that is fundamental and foundational and does not fit into the pharmaceutical paradigm. So with that, I thank you again. As always, have a great week, and we'll have Freddie take us home.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. So if you have a pain, call the doctor. If you have a strain, call the doctor. Let the doctor know what's bothering you.